paid for basically by Israel's cutouts in the US. And so Israel's cutouts in the US have basically bought and paid for Donald Trump's comments. Donald Trump said, Miriam and Sheldon Adelson spent more time in the White House meeting with me than any other of my supporters. And they got what they paid for. And, I think that's what this really symbolizes. The golden pager was, this is disgusting. This was presented to Donald Trump by Benjamin Netanyahu. It's a golden pager, an Apollo pager, modeled after the pagers that we all know were infiltrated by Mossad agents, implanted with explosives to detonate, and on over 3,000 users. Many of them were like Hezbollah reservists, but also children and first responders were badly injured and killed by these pagers. And it was put on an old cedar tree trunk or an olive tree trunk, probably stolen from Palestinians, to Donald J. Trump, our greatest friend and greatest ally, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. What's your take on this pager?
It just underscores that Netanyahu is the personification of smug evil. He loves to just flash what a sociopath he is. And Trump is fine with debasing himself by accepting this and celebrating this. This terror attack that was used to, kill and maim children in Lebanon, and they're fine to openly celebrate it. It just speaks again to the complete normalization of sadism, if it's done at the behest of Israel. No other foreign leader, I think, could get away with doing something like this.
No.
Maybe Zelensky back when his currency, his cachet was a lot higher, but not anymore. But Israel always has a past to flash its depravity in Washington.
Yeah, this is another level. And it really deserves like academic inquiry, like a PhD level paper, except most academic PhDs produce nothing but garbage. What this says about the special relationship. There's so many meanings. You could read it as a threat. He's handing Trump an assassination device, like press with both hands, like, oh, you could just, kill yourself with this. We're giving you something that was used to kill many people who we saw as enemies. Could also be seen as a back channel. We're going to communicate with you outside normal channels, away from your NSC and your advisors, and basically give you orders through a pager. And it also reminded me of the golden telephone from The Godfather, which just symbolized mafia lineage and corruption. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, actually. This is in The Godfather 1?
I think it appears throughout, but it mainly appears with Michael Corleone.
Okay.
But I learned something interesting, which I rarely do, from Quora, which is that the golden telephone that Mario Puzo conceived for The Godfather was actually inspired by a real telephone given to Cuban dictator Fulgencio Batista in 1957 from ITT, International Telephone and Telegraph, because Batista agreed to raise rates on mostly poor Cubans on behalf of that company to increase their profits, which was like the role that he typically paid. And a Batista-like figure appears in The Godfather, in Godfather 2.
Godfather 2, yeah.
Where Hyman Roth, who is supposed to be Meyer Lansky, who actually had to flee Cuba and ran the Riviera Hotel in Havana. He's based on Meyer Lansky. Hyman Roth was, in with the Batista character and then had to flee as well. So I don't know if Trump or Netanyahu understood the clear Godfather reference here, but it really reminds me of it's just sheer depravity, proudly proclaimed. I don't know if Trump could have refused that gift. But I think that everyone who runs for president, who's like a real contender or front runner, knows if they step too far outside the playbook that's been presented to them by Israel and its cutouts in Washington, they face a pager style operation in the future.